This has been just an incredible day. So first of all, I want you to give all of yourselves another hand. I got to tell you, I'm just incredibly proud and really humbled to be your AOA president at these historic times. I want to thank Bill Burke for his great job as a Master of Ceremonies. And I want to thank Father Fred Pauschy, my pastor. Fred has been with us. He's part of our family, and he's married our children and certainly been there when we've had loss, and we love you, Fred. Thank you for being with us. I wouldn't have made it here without some amazing support from so many people, but particularly my family. And you had the chance to get a chance to be introduced to my children and their spouses and significant others, and you got a glimpse of some of my grandchildren in the video, my future DOs. What you might not know is we did have a new addition last Thursday, and her name is Eleanor Anna Udath, and she's my fourth grandchild, and she is sweet. I just want to let each of them know what a difference they've made in my life and how proud I am of them at this moment, and just what a blessing they've been to both Don and I, so thank you. Now I'd like to ask the love of my life, my wife Donna, to please join me on the stage for a few moments. Donna's been my confidant, and she's been my companion on the journey, really on the journey of life. And so she's been either Mrs. Donna or Mom to all of our crew since 1992 when we blended our families. So, honey, I just want to thank you for everything you do for all of us, and certainly the blessing you are to everybody you come in contact with. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome. Thank you. I want to tell you about a book that I've been reading that really has resonated with me, particularly as a DO. In Start With Why, Simon Sinek makes the point that every company, every organization, and I would say each of us, must ask the question of ourselves, what is your why? In other words, why do you exist? What gives you purpose and passion? What makes you get up and get excited every morning and to get going? As healthcare continues to evolve in this country, now more than ever, we have to ask ourselves this simple and yet a very important question: what is our why? In the charter of the American School of Osteopathy, back in 1892, Andrew Taylor Still stated our purpose. He said, "The object of this corporation is to establish a college of osteopathy, the design of which is to improve our present system of surgery, obstetrics, and the treatment of diseases generally, and place the same on a more rational and scientific basis." You see, our why has always been to improve care for the people that we have the privilege to serve. Why? It's such an important question for us as a profession and for each of us as individuals, as DOs. Why did you become a DO? For me, as you saw in the video, my time at Brentwood Hospital played a pivotal role in my decision. I saw how the DOs treated their patients, and I saw how all of the staff really treated each other as family. It's really here where I learned about diversity, working together with a team of people of different colors, creeds, and backgrounds for one great purpose: to take great care of patients. Last September, when I returned to what was Brentwood Hospital and is now, and as president of what is now South Point Hospital, I can tell you that our caregivers still live out their why every day. In coming back where my osteopathic journey started, I have refound my why. It's really to educate great osteopathic students and residents, to take great care of patients with a great group of caregivers, and to improve the health of the communities that we serve. So in rediscovering my why, it got me thinking about those who influenced my decision to enter the profession and who continue to impact me today. Steve and Elizabeth Juhaz married at age 38, and they had me and my brother when they were 40 and 44. Now that is a feat into itself, especially in their day. My dad came from a beautiful village named Esztergom, and it was on the Danube River in Hungary. All of the kings of that country had been crowned in the basilica that's high on a hill there. He built bridges as a Hungarian soldier before World War II, and then he became a police officer. He left Hungary on Christmas Eve 1944, when the Nazis had occupied the village where his family had lived. Knowing that the Russians would invade overnight, he knew that he had to make a choice, either to stay with his family and be locked behind what would become the Iron Curtain, or to leave and seek a new opportunity in a new land. He met his family in the wine cellars of the Basilica, and his mother and father, they really encouraged him to go. He bid them and his two younger brothers, his younger brother and two sisters, farewell, and really never to see them again, most of them again. He was 31 years of age at that time. He set out on a journey to come to the United States, which would keep him waiting in Czechoslovakian and German Red Cross camps for 7 years until he could get his chance to come to the United States. He had his chances to go to Australia and South America, but he chose to wait to come to the USA. He loved this country. He instilled in my brother and me what it meant to be an American citizen, to work hard, to be the best that you can be, to take care of your family and your neighbors, and to never forget where your strength comes from. I want to thank you, Dad, for giving me the gifts of perseverance and resilience. My mother was a wonderful woman, and she had a big, kind heart. She had a fervent faith that she shared with my brother and me. Having been the second oldest of 8 brothers and a sister, she helped raise her siblings, while my grandfather worked in a gunpowder factory, and my grandmother tended to their small family farm. My mother taught me about the love of our Lord, about faith, and how to pray, which has been such a tremendous gift throughout the years. She was also a selfless servant leader who taught me to listen and to be patient, which has been invaluable in my relationship with my wife and my family, in caring for patients, as well as being able to care for and lead others. I want to thank you, Mom, for the gifts of patience listening, and faith. My professional mentors influenced my decision to enter our profession. I became a DO because of people like my chief, Bob DeRue, DO, a cardiologist. Bob, like many of our specialists in those days, went out and did general practice for a couple years, paid off some of his debt, and then went back and did a fellowship and became a cardiologist. And Bob taught me to take care of people, not problems. He taught me that all of us will be patients sooner or later, and that we must learn something every day. Once we stop learning, we stop. Many of my mentors taught me that we could improve healthcare for every one of our patients if we did this simple thing: treat them the way that we would want ourselves or our families to be treated. I am so grateful for people like Marcy Oliva and John Stroh-Snyder, who saw the promise in a scrappy first-generation kid and pushed him forward. Their encouragement has made a huge difference to me. And I've had so many mentors in this room that they're too numerous to name, but I thank you all now. Today, I want you to think about the people who helped you answer your why and recognize them as the unsung heroes, the guardians, or the champions of the profession. I want to thank you, Norm, for establishing such a great program, a worthy program, and for your leadership this past year. Last year, you set a goal for 2,000, and you set a goal for us, John Becker and I, for 4,000 this year, and we're going to work to get it done. So thank you so much, and thank you. You know, when you hang out with Norm, you learn many things. One is you're going to eat some great food. You better bring an appetite. And Anthony Bourdain has nothing on you, my friend. Number two is, when you're a surfer, sometimes you gotta paddle hard to catch a wave, and then sometimes you get the pleasure of riding it out. And I just want to thank you for paddling really hard this year. So we've been talking about our why, the personal purpose that drives each one of us. But to have an even greater impact as a profession, we need to work together to answer 4 significant questions. Who are we? How do we teach? What do we do? And what difference does it make? The evolving healthcare environment is seeking solutions. As the osteopathic medical profession, we can provide those solutions. So who are we? We are DOs. We use the skill of touch to diagnose and to treat according to the tenets set forth by Andrew Taylor Still. We get to know our patients as people, and we care for the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. We know that the body has an amazing ability to heal and regulate itself, given the proper nutrition and exercise. And we understand that structure presupposes function. The way that I interpret that is, if you really want to get things to where they need to go, you have to make sure that there's nothing in the way. And when we plan a treatment for our patients, it incorporates all of our unique tools into that plan of treatment. How do we teach? We train in many settings, from solo practices to some of the most prestigious academic medical centers in the world. We train in teaching health centers and community hospitals. We train alongside our MD colleagues across the country, whether it's in a solo practice, in an underserved community, or in a military hospital in Afghanistan. Much of the teaching we do is in small groups or using one-on-one preceptor-based training. We train our residents to become our future faculty, to perpetuate the education and the philosophy and the practice and the science of osteopathic medicine. And we have a dedication to lifelong learning. When I met with students last year at OMED, several of them said they didn't see DOs practicing osteopathically, and that they felt that some of us may have broken our osteopathic promise, and that has stuck with me since that day. Some of you might have heard me say, you cannot not teach. In other words, whatever you're doing, good or bad, somebody's watching you, and you're always a mentor, whether you know it or not. Many of the students who matriculate to our osteopathic medical schools were accepted at osteopathic and allopathic medical schools, or they just chose to come to our schools. And they did that because they believe that we care for our patients in a different way. They were inspired by our why. We need to keep our promises to these students and our patients and demonstrate the type of care we provide in all of our work. So what do? Last December, in a study published in the JAOA, researchers found that while empathy declined among third and fourth year allopathic and osteopathic medical students, it was less so in our osteopathic medical students. When comparing those two groups of students, the one statistically different variable was touch. Why? Well, most likely it's because in our first week of school, we go in and examine each other as students, and we learn appropriate touch. We learn about osteopathic manipulative diagnosis and treatment. We develop this skill, which relies on our hands to both diagnose and to treat, and we become very comfortable with it. Could this make a difference in how we take care of patients for the rest of our practice lives? Whether or not we incorporate OMM or not? I would think it does. Could it be unique about how we continue to care for our patients? We need to know. So what difference do we make? Well, we do have something special to offer, and I would submit that we not only have the privilege, but we have the responsibility to offer the kind of care that we know can help people. We know patients can benefit from our care, and now we must prove it. We have to show that it's unique, that it makes a difference, and it's cost effective. We can do this through research, which is a key pillar of our strategic plan. Today, I'm challenging the colleges of osteopathic medicine, the state and specialty societies, our research institutes, and all of you to work together as we develop the infrastructure to improve our research efforts and our publications. If I had to describe our research environment right now, I'd say it's much like resuscitating a patient. When it comes to publishing major collaborative osteopathic research, it's sort of like running a code. We run in, and there's no pulse. We begin CPR. We hook up the AED, and then we defibrillate. Thump. Every once in a while, we have a major work published. Might be the low back pain study, the otitis media study, the MOPSI study, the empathy study. We get a zap of energy. We see QRS complexes going across the screen and we say, hot damn. But then we go flatline again for a while, right? And then we wait to do it all over again. So we wait until the next big study is published. So I'm here to tell you today, we need a pulse. To jumpstart our efforts, I'm appointing a task force with internal and external collaborative partners to develop strategies to fund and implement a research network infrastructure and grantsmanship that sets the stage for a steady stream of research. Through this collaboration, we will work towards the goal of publishing scholarly osteopathic research in the JAOA and other major journals at least every month. I've often said the best awareness campaign that we can have is through well-published research. Our communications team at the AOA will then have a pipeline of articles that will bring greater understanding and awareness around the world about DOs and osteopathic medicine, about the 4 vital questions we've been talking about today, and give them the tools that they need to create the awareness you have been asking for. Another significant part of our strategic plan. The answers to those questions will not only help others have a better understanding of our profession, but will also help our osteopathic family see that we continue to be relevant, especially to our growing number of younger DOs. I'd just like to take a minute to address this segment of our members, our younger DOs, for a moment. This meeting, our organization, and much of what we do is for you. We're all about strengthening the profession by creating opportunities for you and training you to be our future leaders. We're about creating the right partnerships, the right pathways that expand our ability to influence the practice of medicine and health policy. The single GME accreditation system is one strategy to do that, but so is increasing OGME, investing in research, strengthening our health policy efforts, and optimizing our management and governance structure in such a way that we can reinvest any savings in improved services to you. We'll continue to strengthen those services that provide you value and are relevant to your needs in what is a rapidly changing healthcare environment. And we'll help you to find joy in the work that you do, which is so important today. We want you to be proud to be a member of this AOA. We're also working to collaborate with our state and specialty affiliates and to partner with and promote innovative programs like the ACOI's Phoenix Physician and Leadership Training programs. Well, there's been a debate here surrounding this agreement for the single GME accreditation system. A primary goal has really been to preserve access for DOs in all residency and training programs. By doing so, we have the responsibility to develop osteopathically focused ACGME programs for DO residents in all specialties in which we train. As we move forward with this single accreditation system, we will now have our osteopathic standards, including NMM and OMM, codified in the largest GME accreditation system in the world. We will be part of the governance of this new system, with DOs serving to bring our influence and to improve graduate medical education at all levels. We'll continue to advocate for our excellent AOA certified DO educators to serve as faculty and program directors. In all ACGME programs, if they meet the standards on a level playing field. As I said when I represented the profession at the ACGME board last month, I think it was a month ago today, I would hold up our AOA certified faculty as some of the best medical educators in the world, and I'd do it today. We said early on, when we agreed to move forward with an agreement with ACOM and ACGME, that this was the end of the beginning. And now, we are moving forward united. We're united in the opportunities to share our why with all medical educators and the public in all GME programs. These are exciting times for us as a profession. It's an honor to serve as your president. I'm extremely proud to be a part of this profession, part of this association, which will continue to be the professional home for all physicians who practice osteopathically. Now, we know we can't cling to the past while we're trying to work on creating the future. We have two choices. One, we can just talk about seizing our opportunities that change has brought us, and we can let ourselves be carried along into obscurity as a quaint, anachronistic system of care. Or we can embrace the changes and realize the dream of Andrew Taylor Still to make good on a vision of the old doctor and be the original health system reform he envisioned more than 140 years ago. The choice is clear. We must now seize the opportunity before us. We must study our educational models, our philosophy, our practice, and further the science of osteopathic medicine. We must demonstrate the difference our practice makes so that we will have the tools to share our message with our medical colleagues, policymakers, and all who seek better care of patients through our healing influence. We must embrace our responsibility to let all of medicine and the world know who we are, how we teach, what we do, and what difference it makes for those patients that we're privileged to take care of. When we articulate our answers, there is no doubt that every person would want the care provided by an osteopathic physician. Now, I ask for your help and for your commitment to take the vision of a pioneer doctor and the work of so many who have nurtured and sustained the osteopathic profession he founded and share it far and wide. I know we're up to the task, that we will embrace our responsibility. I know the AOA trustees know that this is our finest hour. A 100 years from now, when the 218th president of the American Osteopathic Association gives this address, he or she will be able to speak about this moment in their history, about when we met the challenges before us, about how we seized the opportunities before us, and how we improved the care of patients throughout the world. By improving all medical care through our leadership and the contributions of the unique education, philosophy, practice, and science of osteopathic medicine. This is our why. I ask you now to join me as we move confidently forward together, firmly rooted in our heritage, our why, going forward boldly to reach for the stars, to improve all medical care through the shining light of osteopathic medicine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.